Hi everyone, I'm attorney Aiden Durham with 180 Law Co. in Denver, Colorado, and you're watching All Up in Your Business. Networking is important. We all know that. Networking is vital for making connections and building relationships with people who could potentially support you and your business and your goals, and vice versa, of course. And particularly right now, during the holiday season, as I'm filming this, networking is going on left and right with company, holiday parties, and all of these glorious moments to gather with strangers that you don't know and make new friends. That's all well and good. Yeah, sure. Talk to new people, make new friends, grow your business, big success. But what do you do if you are like me? An introvert who gets terrified at the idea of walking into a room full of strangers and people I don't know. That's what we're going to talk about today. But before we get into all of that, please be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video, and also check the description for some links to some guides and check sheets and other freebie downloads too. There are different definitions of introvert and extrovert. The words mean something different depending on who you ask. The definitions that I like the best simply is that extroverts, they get energy from being around other people. They get energized from that. They leave a party and they're pumped up, ready to conquer the world because they've just been around all these new people, met new cool people, and made new friends. Introverts, on the other hand, spend a lot of energy being around new people. Whereas extroverts leave the party feeling pumped up, introverts leave the party feeling exhausted, and they need to spend some time with themselves or in quiet or in their other happy place in order to recharge and get that energy back. I am an introvert. I don't like networking. I do not like it. I feel awkward trying to make small talk with people, and I get terribly anxious at the idea of going into a room of people that I don't know and trying to strike up conversations with strangers. But I have managed to work it out so that I can still network and foster those important relationships without driving myself crazy and doing the opposite of what everything in my body is telling me to do. So here are some of my tips for networking as an introvert. The first tip, and I think really the most important takeaway from this whole thing, is to accept the fact that you are introverted and that there is nothing wrong with it. Introverts typically, or at least they used to, get a pretty bad rap of being, kind of antisocial. We don't like people. We're weird. All of that's kind of true, but it's not actually true. We're typically not completely antisocial. It's not that I don't like people. I'm just an introvert, and I connect with people in a different way. But there is a lot of strength and benefit that comes with those introverted qualities. So once you learn to appreciate those qualities that you have from being introverted, it becomes a lot easier to then work with them in your life. The second tip is decide on what kind of networking you're okay with. Decide on what works for you, and then get rid of the rest of it. I hate being at big events where I don't know people and it's up to me to mingle and introduce myself and start meeting someone. I know from past experience that I will end up hiding in a corner somewhere or sitting by myself, being awkward at a table, and then I'll leave after 15 minutes because I feel so uncomfortable. And then I'll drive home in my pool of self-pity, wondering why I even put myself through that and wasted that time and energy of pretending like I would be good at that event. So I typically just don't go to those types of events. I know it's not going to serve me, and my presence there isn't going to serve anybody else if I'm just sitting there being weird. So what's the point in me spending that time and energy? But I do feel comfortable in small groups where I see the same faces week after week or on a regular basis, or in groups where there's some order of events where I know it's not just going to be me trying to keep a conversation going with a stranger. So I'll typically stick with those networking groups and events that allow me to make a stronger and deeper connection with a smaller group of people. My next tip is to create networking that you like. I consider this whole thing networking, even if it really kind of only goes one way. YouTube and my channel is a catalyst for me to make connections with you all, with my subscribers and the people who watch my stuff. So I consider that networking. Networking doesn't have to be where you and a group of people go to lunch and you pass business cards around and you're just waiting for your opportunity to have your 30 seconds to do your elevator pitch. That doesn't have to be networking. It doesn't even have to be talking face to face with somebody. Networking can be talking to yourself through a camera and nobody else is around. Yet somehow this still allows me to form relationships with people that I never would have otherwise met. So if maybe those big groups don't work for you, if there aren't any smaller networking groups, start a networking group that works the way that you would want it to work, or start your own form of networking that doesn't involve having to talk to other people. All right, sometimes we just have to go to these terrible events. Sometimes there's just no way around it. We just have to go to this networking event. We know we're going to be miserable, but we've just got to do it. So for those situations, here are a few things that I do. I find someone that I know. This may not be like the best tip or what professionals say that you should do, but if I'm in a group, I am going to be looking for one person that I recognize or one person that I've talked to before, one person that I could go to and not feel terribly uncomfortable shadowing them the entire night. And bonus points if that one person is an extrovert who will take you around and make introductions and help to facilitate those connections that you might have a struggle with forming on your own. If you can't find a person there that you recognize, try to find someone else who's awkward AF. Because I promise you're not the only one. That other gal across the room who's sitting at the table by herself, fiddling with her phone as if she's got something important to do, she's probably just as uncomfortable as you are. And, you know, misery loves company. So the two of you can sit awkwardly next to each other and just be losers together. But no, really, finding somebody else who is clearly uncomfortable or is in an introverted state, for me at least, that kind of makes me feel more comfortable. It's not just me who's being weird. It's not just my problem. We're in this together. Introverts unite. Next, ask questions. This is an age-old tip. Ask questions. I had a boss at my job in college who gave me a little bit of advice that I have carried with me through till today and will carry with me forever. He told me people love to talk about themselves. So anytime I'm in an awkward silence and I don't know what to say, I don't have anything interesting to add, I will just start asking questions like I am Katie Couric trying to get all the dirt. I will ask, oh, where'd you move from? Tell me about your kids. How old are they? What kind of things do they play with? What's your spouse do? Just start asking questions, and most people will either walk away because they're so uncomfortable or they'll answer questions because they like talking about themselves. And then kind of related to that, put your introvert skills to work. Introverts are generally known for being quiet and not terribly talkative. That means that for the most part, we're really good listeners because we're not talking, we're observing, and we're listening. And we typically want to know more about people besides just where they grew up and how'd you get into this line of work. We want to form those deeper connections. So with asking questions is listen. Listen to what people are saying to you. Listen to what people are saying around you. And if you hear someone mention a brand that you're super into or say something that you're familiar with, try, if you're comfortable, to take that as an opportunity to join in the conversation or add some little witty comment back to it to let everyone know you're cool and that they should all be talking to you. And then my last bit of advice or tip for networking as an introvert is if you have to be at an event, give yourself a purpose for being there. Now, I don't mean this set an intention kind of purpose. I read this on a lot of articles, like set a purpose of I'm going to meet one person. I'm going to get 2 business cards. Not that kind of purpose. Give yourself an actual purpose, a job to do at that event. I love when I have something to do at a party. It's comforting to know that I can get out of an awkward situation. Oh, I gotta go refill the cheese plate. Oh, gotta go empty the trash can. Sorry. If you must be at a networking event or really any event that you don't want to be at, try to volunteer or pitch in to help with the event. Now you're not there to network. You've got a job to do. You've got an actual purpose and a task. And if you happen to meet really cool people in the process, then even better. But having something that you can do if you're feeling uncomfortable, rather than just sitting there playing on your phone, being able to default to doing some kind of work to help the event is always a great backup for being forced into going to these things. Really, I think the key to networking as an introvert, or even the key to being an introvert, is being okay with it and loving the qualities that you get as an introvert rather than seeing them as a negative or as a drawback. Because it's true, really, being introverted does have a lot of benefits to it, and we should know that and recognize it and appreciate it for what it is. And do not ever let someone make you feel bad for not wanting to go to an event or for leaving an event early. Just because someone else loves being in a room full of people doesn't mean that you have to love it too. And just because you don't love it doesn't mean that you're a bad person or you're doing something wrong. That's all for this episode. Drop a comment below and let me know what you think. If you are a fellow introvert, I would love to know if you have any tips or tricks for networking or any other things that you do to help you network. If you're an extrovert and you hate seeing us introverts at networking parties, or if you have tips for us introverts as well, go ahead and comment those too. You can also check my blog. There is a link in the description for more information on networking tips and dealing with being an introvert in business. Thank you all so very much for watching. I'm Aiden Durham, and I'll see you next time.